Support WrestleTalk!
Order a t-shirt.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Luke Owen. For the last couple of weeks, John Cena has been calling out The Undertaker on Monday Night Raw, calling him a coward and a disappointment for not showing up. In his last couple of promos, Cena has become so impassioned about this feud that he's been begging The Undertaker to do something. And while he asked The Undertaker to do something, Cena himself has been cast in the upcoming remake of Dr. Dolittle. Thank you, tip your waitresses, thank you. The announcement was made on Twitter by Iron Man, who revealed the cast lineup for The Voyage of Dr. Dolittle, which also features Nanny McPhee as a parrot, Voldemort as a tiger, Spider-Man as a dog, Daryl from The Office as a mouse, Talia al Ghul as a fox, Serafina Pickery as a lioness, Akmen Ra as a gorilla, and 16-time WWE Champion John Cena as a polar bear. Cena posted on Twitter, "Dear Dr. Dolittle, because I'm a polar bear, does that mean I'm finally cool? Doubt it. I can barely wait to see this project come to life." But that's not the only movie project John Cena has been announced for. It's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum and make some alien pay for shooting up a ride, as it's been revealed that John Cena is currently in line to play Duke Nukem in a big screen version of the popular 90s video game. Cinema Blend caught up with the film's producer Andrew Form, who said of Cena, "If he reads the script and he doesn't like the script, I'm sure there's ways that he could pull out. But right now, he's our guy." In an interview with Screen Rant, Cena confirmed that he hasn't seen a script yet, but has high hopes for the project. The story has to come in dead on balls, man. Like, it has to come in told correct. Told in a palatable sense for this generation, which you're walking on eggshells. You can't not be Duke Nukem, but you can't make the wrong move. What a blessing to be attached to that. A name like that. And I just hope development does the franchise justice. As a fun fact, if Cena does get cast as Duke Nukem and says the bubblegum line, he will be the second WWE wrestler to say it on the big screen, as Roddy Piper said the original version in John Carpenter's They Live. But who will say it better? Vote in the poll above my head to let me know your thoughts. Wow, with all these movies coming out based on video games, and more movies being announced, if only there was someone who had written a book about how video game movie adaptations get made, with detailed production histories and in-depth interviews with the people who made them. Maybe even with never-before-told stories about live-action movies based on Sonic the Hedgehog, Pac-Man, and Metroid that nearly got made. Oh wait, there is someone, and that someone is me. Consider this your cheap plug to check out my book, Lights, Camera, Game Over, which is available now from all good book retailers. Paul W.S. Anderson even wrote the foreword. Ollie, what did you think of it?
It was fine.
Ha! Great stuff. But you don't want to hear about John Cena's movie resume or my book right now. You want to hear about NXT's new championship, right? On last night's edition of NXT, Chili Willy Regal officially announced the NXT North American Championship, which will find its first holder at NXT TakeOver New Orleans on April 7th. WWE.com reported, "History will be made at NXT TakeOver New Orleans when 6 of the black and yellow brand's most riveting superstars, including 2 acclaimed newcomers, vie to become the first ever NXT North American champion in an every man for himself ladder match." Yep, because that's how people talk. Announced for the match are Undisputed Era leader Adam Cole, who will be pulling double duty as he also defends the NXT Tag Team Championships, the Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane, and newcomers Ricochet and former Impact World Champion EC3. The former Derek Bateman made his on-screen debut in NXT on last night's show, if you don't count being in a crowd at a previous TakeOver show, to ask why Regal didn't just hand him the title and told him he's in the top 1% of the industry. This will be EC3's first televised WWE match in over 5 years, which means there will be some trouble for 5 other men in the match. And speaking of trouble, it was also announced that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa will finally square off in the ring at NXT TakeOver New Orleans in an unsanctioned street fight, where if Johnny Wrestling wins, he will be reinstated back into NXT. Ciampa turned on Gargano last year at NXT TakeOver Chicago, but was sadly sidelined with an injury for the rest of 2017. He returned at TakeOver Philadelphia to attack Gargano after his loss to Andrade Cien Almas, and then cost him his rematch on NXT TV, a match that had Gargano's NXT career on the line. Regal announced the match last night, but Gargano and Ciampa have been furthering this feud online, with Ciampa recording himself at 3:25 a.m. being awoken by a furious Johnny Wrestling trying to break into his house. And speaking of breaking things, Segway? I finally broke Ollie's fantasy booking warfare winning streak, with the SWAP Nation voting for my pitch on Aleister Black's main roster debut with a new Ministry of Darkness. The difference in mine and Ollie's is huge. That's what she said. Check out Ollie and I reviewing this week's episode of Raw and SmackDown Live, and subscribe to the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcasts from.